All right, now let's delve into one of the topical issues for the day. The Independent National Electoral Commission, Inec, has delisted 1.1 million fresh registrants ahead of the 2023 general elections. Inec National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, said this in a statement on Tuesday. Earlier, the commission informed Nigerians that out of the 2.5 million people who registered in between 28th June 2021 and 14th January 2022, 1.1 million have been deregistered because they were found to be invalid and consequently delisted. He explained that the ABIS for 15th January to 31st July 2022 is almost completed, noting that several double, multiple, and ineligible registrants have also been detected and invalidated. And of course, joining us to discuss this is Dr. Dayo Kayode, political technocrat. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Dayo.
Yeah, good morning, Omobalali. How are you today?
Good to have you on the show. Now, 1.1 million registered candidates, or rather registered electorate, they registered from about 2.5 million. What does that say about the process, especially as we prepare towards the 2023 elections?
Yeah, thank you, Mumbolani. You see, there are so many angles to look at that particular issue by Inec. Number one, if you look at that number, it's almost half of the citizens that registered between January and
between June and January, yes.
This year, okay. Now, because those that registered were about 2.5 million or so, and then those that are now deregistered are 1.216 million, you know. Now, what to take out of that is, number one, INEC, honestly speaking, they are doing their very best to have been able to detect that. Number two, I want to be sure that all those things were done in good faith. Not that those that were deregistered are skewed towards a particular part of the country. Okay? Then number three, I also want to know, yes, if some people registered twice, why don't you just cancel one and leave another one? Is that not possible? Four, I also want to know, when people make mistakes, either in their age or whatever, why is it not also possible to refer to their BVN or their NIN and then make those corrections? Because there should be linkages in all these biometric data. So these are issues that I have been pondering upon since when I read that particular news.
Well, isn't this a way to disenfranchise Nigerians? Because we've seen agitations from different quarters, especially people asking for accountability, transparency, saying, let us have a list of those who you have delisted and the reason for delisting. Because one would expect that in a digital age, there should be some means of doing all of this without having to, you know, disenfranchise some people.
Yes, and that was why I raised that question. I wish you that INEC should let Nigerians understand that those that had been deregistered are not skewed towards a particular part of the country. That is, let us have those lists. In that list, let it also include the state of which those people registered from. And then let us also know why they are being deregistered, so that Nigerians can learn, because honestly, our democracy is still evolving, and we have to be learning every day. I won't blame Inec for doing that, but let us know. I mean, let us have the data of those that have been registered, their names, their state of residence, and then the reason why such people have been registered. So with that, it will show some kind of transparency. It will also bridge the truth gap in between the people and the Inec. I mean, it's for the good of Inec to do that. So these are issues that I think Inec should consider, and then treat people back with such information.
Well, still on this issue of accountability, Inec has stated clearly that for some of these registered voters that were delisted, it had to do with double or multiple registrations, among other reasons. Do you think the public, display of these people and the regions they're from, would that be enough enough accountability rather for you, or INEC needs to come up with certain measures at which they arrived at the talks of multiple entries? Then the other question would be, if you have multiple entries or registrations rather, which should INEC go for, the latest by the applicant or the previous registration on INEC's portal?
Yeah, and that's why, something I said initially that, look, is it not possible?
Okay.
We need to ask INEC, or INEC need to explain to us, is it not possible if somebody is having multiple registration to cancel one and then leave the other one? That should be possible.
Especially since the process is digital.
Yeah, it's a more especially it is digital. You understand?
Yes.
So you cancel one and then leave one. Number two, I've also said, let us have the reasons why these people have been delisted. Then let us also have, okay, even if you don't want to provide the full list, okay, for so states, so number registered, amount of people that were registered are X, Y, Z number.
Okay.
And then this for the 36 states, then people will now be able to see whether it is skewed or not. So INEC, because some of us, especially because of the electronic transfer of results,
yes,
some of us are now increasing our belief rate in INEC. So INEC should not somehow jeopardize this, the kind of belief that we are trying to develop in that particular commission.
Okay, but for this issue now, I mean, at the core of this delisting is the issue of disenfranchisement of eligible Nigerians, to exercise their right to vote. Do you think this would go down the legal way? Are you looking at political pressure groups and pressure groups rather, taking INEC to court for this delisting? Or if INEC decides to, pardon?
You see, it's not the issue of taking INEC to court now.
Okay.
Because everything shouldn't be court.
But that those who feel they are being disenfranchised as a result of being delisted.
You should also realize that we Nigerians, sometimes we are very difficult people. We Nigerians. So people will register here and then go to another place to go and register. We are bad people boasting of having 2 PVCs.
Okay.
In the past elections. I mean, what is that? We Nigerians ourselves, we are difficult people.
Yeah, but shouldn't the system be able to pick that? Dr. D, sorry to button. Shouldn't the system be able to pick that? For instance, if you go to the bank and maybe you want to register for something, I recall during the BVN, if you register for BVN at a particular bank, if you go to another bank, it would reflect that BVN you have in a bank would reflect in another bank because it's the same person, the same details, the same biometric data. So shouldn't the system be able to pick that, and then at a point of registration, the system is able to tell you that you have already registered, and then you don't have to go through the hassle?
It is so sweet saying that. I like the way you use a compromised voice to say that. Nigerians are difficult people. This bank you are talking about, are people not entering the system of banks to steal people's money? My money was stolen sometimes ago in the bank.
That's a different case, Dr. D. That's an entirely different case. We're talking about having a system that can detect multiple registrations, which we have seen in the case of the BVN.
Listen, that's number one. Number two, our system, especially our electoral system, is just evolving. There is nothing that is perfect. Nothing. Look at this perfect ship, Titanic, that was built. The builder said, this is the most safest ship to ever be built in the history of the whole world. So what happened to Titanic? What happened to Boeing 777 aircraft? That of Ethiopia Airlines. So we are just evolving. We should be able to accommodate some little skirmishes now. And all we need to do is not to war, but to judge.
But some people will tell you that this isn't a little skirmish.
Let experts come out and tell INEC, look at this. Which party, there was a time which party gave INEC a prototype of how to vote electronically. So let people also come out to tell INEC how to forestall such mistakes in the nearest future. We are just evolving. We are just moving. And we are bound to make mistakes. Little children that are just starting to walk will always fall down and stand up. So let us learn from our mistakes and move forward rather than going to court or fighting or protesting. We don't need that at this point in time.
Dr. D, you call 1.1 million people getting disenfranchised out of about 2.5, that's almost half. You call that a little mistake?
A mistake is always a mistake. Is there another name to talk about a mistake? It's not a mistake.
I'm talking about the adjective you use.
And that's why I added initially. I added something. As I let INEC also bridge the truth gap between the people and the commission by giving us the analysis of those that have been disenfranchised. So the moment it is not skewed, then we move ahead. It is not skewed to a particular state or a particular region that we cannot be raising eyebrows. But without that, a mistake will always be a mistake.
Okay.
No other thing to call it.
Okay, if INEC decides, to toe that part of accountability by releasing the statistics of how, they came about these huge number of people being delisted, what do you think happens next? I mean, especially for the people affected, because 1.1 million people is a whole lot for a nation that is clamoring for a rejection of voter apathy.
You see, Samson, let me put this across to you.
Okay.
Problems are part of development.
Okay.
Okay, even if it's being deceitful, it is a lesson for us to learn from.
And how can the people learn from this when the power to delist or approve of their registration to vote lies with the commission?
Dr. D. Okay, looks like we've lost connection with Dr. D, but I was going to get some more clarification, especially as INEC says the entries that were delisted includes those that failed to meet the commission's business rules. I'm wondering, what are these business rules? I know they talked about multiple registration, double registration, and all of the invalidated reasons. But what exactly do they mean by business rules?
It will be intriguing to find out.
Exactly.
Rather.
So why speaking figurative expressions when you know that people would ask for accountability and transparency? Because this is one sensitive issue. Elections are sensitive, and people want to, have the right or exercise their franchise.
Exactly.
And this is a time where a lot of, we've been talking about voter apathy. We want to fight against voter apathy. We want people to vote. We want people to not just get their PVCs, but also go out there to vote. But if you disenfranchise them, if you do not give them that right to even get that PVC, how do they then get to vote?
Exactly. It's quite ridiculous. I hope we get clarity though, but we'll have to go on a break now. When we return, we'll continue the conversation with Dr. Dayo Kayode regarding Inec delisting over 1.1 million Nigerians. Please to stay with us.
All right, still talking about the delisting of 1.1 million registrants by Inec from the 2.5 recent registration, 2.5 million people who registered for the PVC. But of course, Dr. Dayo Kayode is still with us, a political technocrat. Thank you so much for staying with us, Dr. Dayo.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Now, one of the reasons that INEC gave for delisting this 1.1 million electorate is the fact that they did not abide by their business rules, and one would wonder what this means. We know they've talked about double registration, multiple registration, and all of that, but these business rules, why were they not spelled out?
You see, when you're talking of business rules, these are regulations. For instance, in that registration process, there's a place where you have to affix your passport. Okay? There are some instructions that are being given there. Those are rules. Again, another rule is you must not register more than once. You must not register more than once. It's another rule. So anybody that deviates from the stated procedures will definitely be deregistered. So these are issues. And like I was saying before, yes, we can be having hiccups now, but we can develop from that. It's from one experience to a development, and then another experience will come. Okay, look at the issue of now electronic transfer of results. It's because of what we have been experiencing in terms of collation of results that made us to get to that point. So, as it regards registration too, if you have registered more than once, you now know that yes, INEC can discover it. So you won't do that again. Also, you have just mentioned their system supposed to detect it. Yes, but this time around, let us believe them that yes, the system couldn't detect it. So next time, they will know that yes, there must be an inbuilt mechanism that will be able to detect anybody that wants to register more than once. But again, we Nigerians, like I said, we are difficult people. They will find a way of circumventing even the inbuilt mechanism, because those mechanisms that were built there, they are being built by human beings. So how to jeopardize them can also be developed by human beings. So you know that it is the whatever of a virus that is being used to develop the antivirus. I think you are aware of that.
Absolutely.
So also the system, vis-a-vis the behavioral pattern of Nigerians. So let us bear. I will want to plea with Nigerians, or rather implore Nigerians, to let us give INEC a benefit of doubt that these things are not skilled.
Okay.
Let INEC to come up with the analysis of those that have been deregistered so that we can move ahead.
The question then will be, where does this leave the 1.1 million electorates that have been delisted? I mean, we cry about voter apathy and the need for this generation to step up to the plate and get involved. If 1.1 million people are being delisted, where does this leave them? What next?
You say what next? What next? Other than yes, they won't be able to vote. If it is 1.1 million, what is the fraction? What is the fraction of that 1.1 million to the entire voters?
You cannot say that, Dr. D, because we even have those who did not register at all.
Nigeria is having more than enough problems that to be allowing this one to truncate
that may not hold water, because the number of 2.5 million people who registered was from January this year to July. That's within the space of 7 months. So if you are saying half of those, virtually half of those people are not, recognized in the scheme of things, that may be misplaced. Don't you think that?
Again, those people too that register twice, are they not fraudulent? Why should you also be fraudulent?
It could be network issues.
It is the result. Listen, it is the result of one, fraudulent people. Two, people that are never ready to play according to the rules. And then three, people that believe that yes, they can do whatever they want to do.
And you don't think some of them
giving procedures? You
don't think some of them were not, fraudulent in trying to register? They probably had network issues, and rather than submit, it didn't submit the page came up again and all of that.
If there is network issue, if there is a network problem, is that the problem of Inec?
Or is that the problem of the applicants as well?
NCC?
That's also the problem of the registrants.
Yeah, it's the problem of the NCC, Nigeria Communication Company.
Exactly, the telecom firms.
We are not about to begin to apportion blames here, Dr. D. You seem to be holding forth. You seem to be holding forth for INEC.
And that's why I said, we have to give INEC benefit of doubt. For once, either we like it or not, this particular INEC had moved us another step forward.
All right.
So if along the line there are some mistakes here and there, let us also learn from that mistake and move on.
So you seem to be speaking so much for INEC, holding forth for them, not seeing anything wrong. Hold on, I'm going somewhere. You seem to not see anything wrong with this delisting, but you also made a statement saying that that's the list of Nigeria's problems. But do you realize that this is actually the root of Nigeria's problems? Because if the people who are supposed to vote to elect the right people in positions of leadership are not able to vote, then it means that it would only be the few who would be able to vote, and then eventually you do not get the right representatives, and then the economy continues to suffer.
Number one, I have no reason to be holding forth for INEC.
Well, that's how you sound.
I don't even know. Listen now, listen. When you were talking, I didn't distract you.
Go ahead.
Again, I don't know anybody working in INEC. I'm only saying it the way I feel. That, listen, INEC has made some progress. And as they are making progress, they are also human beings who can falter. Okay? Yes, 1 million plus have been deregistered. Use the political word, disenfranchised. But the question is, these people too, why did they, in the first instance, register twice? Again, why did they not follow the laid down rules and regulations as well as procedures? Number three, let INEC give us the statistics, the analysis of those that have been deregistered, so as to ensure that the thing is not skewed to a particular part of the nation. If that is done, then there are some things that we can overlook and say yes, it is an issue indeed. But let us move on from there. Because if we are trying to distract INEC at this point, it might also affect the elections. Much as we are looking for credible and fair, free and fair elections, we must also be mindful of INEC having enough concentration to move ahead, not taking them to court, that will be taking their time, but rather giving them suggestions. I have given some suggestions. From these are discussions. So if INEC is listening, INEC should be able to pick it, and then let others speak out too on other platforms to ensure that all these solutions get to INEC, and then INEC should make use of it. Period.
All right, we would have to move on from the conversation too. Thank you so much for your time on the show, Dr. Dayo Kayode, political technocrat.
Thank you, Omobolani, and thank you for having me.
All right, have a great day.
Have a nice day.
Yes. We'll take a break now. When we come back, it will be time to talk personal finance. Please stay with us.